You arrive in Dalaran, the floating city of wonders, suspended high above the shattered remnants of the Broken Isles. The air is cool and sharp with arcane power, the streets humming with the presence of mages, heroes, and schemers alike. As you cross the stone streets, a voice in your head calls to you, and tells you to report at once to Crassus's Landing. You make your way there, boots echoing across the stone as you step onto the wide platform where dragons once perched and mighty leaders now gather. Waiting for you is Duke Lankrel, a grim figure draped in dark armor. His presence is cold as the frost that clings to the peaks of Icecrown. His eyes lock onto yours as you approach. "We stand at the edge of Shadow Death Knight," he states, his voice like a blade drawn across stone. "The Ebon Blade has chosen its path, and that path leads to the Frozen Throne." He explains the grim pact. The Knights of the Ebon Blade will ally with none other than the Lich King himself, Bolvar Fordragon, the Frozen Lord who now rules the Scourge. Once, the Ebon Blade fought to break free of the Lich King's grip. Now, they will become his sharpened weapon, cutting through the world in his name. But this bargain comes not without reward. For your loyalty, Bolvar promises aid in claiming 3 legendary weapons: the Maw of the Damned, the Blades of the Fallen Prince, and Apocalypse. This is no ordinary mission. This is the first step into a grim and tangled alliance, one that blurs the boundary between freedom and servitude, between wielding power and being consumed by it. You feel it in your gut even now. The road will demand everything you are, and more. To claim the Maw of the Damned, you set your path for Darkstone Isle, a jagged outcrop clawing up from the cursed waters of the broken shore. Storm-racked skies churn overhead, casting the land in flickering green and violet light as fell energy pulses through the clouds. The air is thick with the acrid stench of brimstone and ash, and the ground beneath your boots crackles faintly, cursed earth that seems to whisper underfoot. On the blighted shore, the battered banners of the Ebon Blade snap sharply in the sulphurous wind. Margrave Dakar leads the assault here, his Death Knights locked in a brutal push against Gorlex the Flesh Ripper, a demon whose name echoes in terrified whispers across entire worlds. You step through the crackling portal and emerge in Niskara, a Legion-controlled world. The air here is a furnace of infernal heat, the sky above you a seething vault of emerald fire. The landscape is a shattered ruin, jagged cliffs and ruined spires jutting like broken teeth from a blasted plain. Nearby you spot Baron Sliver, a Blood Elf veteran of countless battles. His armor scorched and cracked as he fights desperately against a demon draining his life. Without pause you surge forward, cutting down the beast in a spray of black blood. And with Sliver by your side, you carve a crimson path through the demonic horde. The ground trembles with the distant roar of Felguards, the air thick with the metallic tang of blood and sulfur. Dakar's voice crackles through the air, urgent and strained, urging you to push faster, to reach him before it's too late. Your march leads you to grim discoveries, Minerva Ravensorrow and Dagnar Stonebrow shackled with cruel iron chains. You rush to free them from their binds. You must kill a demon nearby to acquire the key needed. Without wasting any time, you rush over to the demon and end him, then rush back to free your comrades. Together, your forces gather their strength and charge toward Gorlex's citadel. But you are too late. Through the storm-lashed haze, you watch Gorlex deliver a killing blow to Margrave Dakar. The demon's weapon sinking deep, Dakar's last cry torn away by the wind. Fury and purpose surge through you. Without hesitation, you and your companions unleash everything you have. Every rune, every strike, battering the monster until at last, Gorlex crashes to the ground in a smoking heap. When the dust settles, you claim his weapon, the Maw of the Damned, a rune axe that hums with cold hunger, its edge whispering promises of ruin. With the weapon in hand, you step back through the portal, the fell-torn world of Niskara shrinking behind you. You return to Azeroth, but you know darker tides are already rising. But your journey is far from over. The next challenge awaits far to the north, at the frozen crown of the world. To obtain the blades of the Fallen Prince, you journey to the ice-clad halls of Icecrown Citadel. The wind howls like a chorus of lost souls as you step into the bitter, frozen corridors, your breath fogging in the icy air. There, within the shadowed halls, you encounter restless spirits wandering in torment, remnants of souls once trapped within the cursed runeblade Frostmourne. First stands Baelgun Flamebeard, his dwarven form wreathed in pale blue fire, his spectral beard bristling like frozen iron wires. Once a proud explorer, Baelgun met his end at the depths of Azul Nurub. cut down by Arthas himself as the Death Knight carved his way through the ruined Nerubian Empire. Though his soul was eventually freed from Frostmourn's grasp when the blade was shattered, Baelgun's spirit now roams Icecrown Citadel, forever bound to the moment of his death. His eyes glow with stubborn fury, and even in this cursed existence, he clings fiercely to his dwarven pride, locked in a ceaseless loop of defiance and doom. Near him stands Halak, a resolute human paladin, his spectral armor dented and scarred from countless battles fought in the shattered ruins of Lordaeron. His face is grim but determined, eyes burning with unwavering loyalty even in death. Though Arthas struck him down alongside his fallen companions, Halak refuses to abandon his homeland, his spirit a stubborn bulwark, standing watch against the darkness that claimed his world. His spectral blade hums faintly, and his presence carries the solemn weight of an oath never broken. You next encounter Magroth the Defender, a proud human paladin who was a part of the Knights of the Silver Hand. His spectral armor battle-worn, and in his hands he grips a massive two-handed mace, its round spiked head glinting with a ghostly sheen. Once rescued from Naga captivity in Dalaran by Malfurion Stormrage and Maiev Shadowsong, Magroth later stood as leader of the Defenders of Justice, fighting alongside his brothers in arms, Halak and Dagren, against Arthas Menethil in the crumbling ruins of Lordaeron. Even in death, his spirit radiates grim determination, pacing the icy halls like a soldier who refuses to lay down his weapon. Finally, Gavinrad, the first paladin, stands watch, his battered armor ghostly but proud, his spectral sword resting heavy across his shoulders. His eyes, once full of righteousness, now blaze with torment, his voice thundering through the halls as he roars out defiance even in death. Each of these fallen champions stands as a spectral guardian, driven by sorrow, rage, or the remnants of honor, and all stand in your path. At last you reach the Frozen Throne, where the shattered remains of Frostmourne await. Under the looming presence of Bolvar Fordragon, the fragments are reforged into the blades of the fallen prince, but the weapons seethe with malevolent souls, eager to consume. To claim them fully, you are pulled into the heart of the blade itself, a spectral realm drenched in memory and malice. Inside, you confront haunting echoes of Ner'zhul and Arthas Menethil, spectral fragments of two fallen leaders bound forever to the blade's cruel history. Battling through phantoms and bitter illusions, you stand against the echo of Arthas himself, and you triumph, silencing the past and laying claim to the reforged weapons. Emerging from the spectral realm, you grip the blades of the fallen prince tightly, a chilling reminder that every victory you seize carries the weight of the damned. But still, one final prize awaits. Apocalypse, a rune blade of cataclysmic power. To claim it, you seek out the vigilant priest Revel Kost in the haunted woods of Duskwood, convincing Kost to join your cause, whether through words of reason or the force of will. You set out together to confront the Dark Riders, spectral thieves who have stolen powerful relics. Your journey leads you to Aradin's camp, where scattered clues hint at a darker truth. The stolen artifacts are hidden deep within the catacombs beneath Karazhan. Before venturing into the depths, you call forth the spirit of Laith Sheol, raising the shade to reveal the location of the artifacts. Descending into the labyrinthine Karazhan catacombs, you and Kost battle through spectral wards, ancient curses, and restless dead. At the heart of the maze, you confront Aradin, the Dark Rider's shadowy leader. In a clash of steel, shadow, and raw will, you emerge victorious, seizing Apocalypse from Aradin's grasp. As you rise from the catacombs, Revel Kost, once wary, now solemn, acknowledges the truth. The Dark Riders have been defeated, though they may one day return. In that grim moment, he recognizes you as a valuable, if uneasy, ally. With Apocalypse added to your arsenal, you return to the world above, armed and powered, and set upon a path that leads into even darker destinies. But the Lich King's will is not yet satisfied. His voice pierces the darkness. Raise the Horsemen. Your first target is Nazgrim, the fallen general of the Horde, a warrior whose name once carried weight across every battlefield of Azeroth. You and Thessarian ride into Durotar, a land carved by hardship and scorched beneath an unforgiving sun. The cracked red soil stretches like the battered skin of a wounded world, its harsh face a mirror of the orcs' long-lost homeworld of Draenor. Jagged crags rise like the teeth of ancient beasts, and narrow canyons cut deep scars into the earth, their shadowed depths crawling with creatures as fierce as the land itself. The air is bone dry. The heat presses against your armor like a weight. The sparse, stubborn plants claw their way through the rock as if defying death itself. To outsiders, Durotar is a wasteland, barren, cruel, unyielding. But to the orcs, it is a place of fierce beauty, a land that demands strength, endurance, and the unbreakable will to survive. You press onward, the dust swirling around your boots, the sun bleeding rust-colored light across the horizon. Somewhere ahead, beyond the jagged cliffs and cracked plains, the great walls of Orgrimmar rise, and just outside those walls waits your target, General Nazgrim, once a proud hero of the Horde, now a soul ready to be bound. You dismount slowly, the dry wind scraping against your cloak, carrying the faint scent of ash and iron. The Saurian sits atop his horse, gripping the reins and holding his mount steady as you prepare to do the ritual. The air hums with memory of old wars, of shattered oaths, of battles still waiting to be fought. You draw in a breath, steady and cold. Then you speak the words. Dark incantations coil into the earth, twisting through the cracked ground, pulling at the threads of death and spirit. The earth shudders. A jagged crack splits the silence, and then a fist punches up through the dirt, grasping at the open air as Nazgrim rises, caked in ash, his eyes flickering with the cold, unwavering light of undeath.
Nazgrim, your Deathlord calls. Feel the icy grip of your master, and rise once more.
I live again. How long has it been since I tasted death?
Long enough, my friend. The Burning Legion has returned, and you have been called to the battle.
Say no more. I will sever their heads from their bodies.
Indeed you shall, General. Indeed you shall.
Next comes Thoris Trollbane, the storied king of Stromgarde. You and your knights ride for Stromgarde Keep, once a proud fortress, now little more than a crumbling shell. Its ancient stone walls loom against the blue sky, their edges cracked and crumbling, the once bold banners of Stromgarde hanging in tatters, snapping weakly in the bitter wind. The air here is thick with the weight of old battles, the ground scarred by the tread of the undead. Within those broken walls, Galen Trollbane lords over his hollow kingdom, ruling among the restless dead. When you arrive, you offer him a chance. You stand before the fallen prince, your voice low but firm. Reclaim your city, reclaim your birthright. For a moment he hesitates, eyes flickering, fingers twitching at his sword hilt. But treachery is something he cannot help. It does not take long for his betrayal to reveal itself. After you crush the witherbark trolls lurking in the Mage District, Galen bares his teeth and turns on you, thinking himself clever, thinking he still holds the advantage. But you are the Deathlord, and Galen does not live long enough to regret his mistake. Your blade finds its mark. You cut through Stromgarde's remaining defenders, the clang of steel ringing against stone, the screams of the fallen echoing through the hollowed-out keep. When at last Galen falls, his lifeless body sprawled beneath the broken banners of his house. You reach down and claim Troll Kalar, the legendary blade, a weapon that once bore the hopes of a kingdom, now resting cold in your hands. With the prince slain and the crypts unsealed, you descend beneath the ruined keep. The air down here is thick with dust, with the choking scent of stone and old death. Shadows cling to the walls like hungry spirits, and the silence is so deep it seems to press against your skin. You approach the sarcophagus, drawing in a slow, measured breath. You speak the incantations, dark words that twist the air, curling through the crypt like black smoke. The stone trembles, the ground shifts, and then with a sudden surge of unholy power, Thoris Trollbane rises. His voice rolls through the crypt, a deep rumbling thunder.
My son, where is Galen? Where is the prince who murdered his king?
We took his life, my lord. The prince left us little choice.
What has become of Stromgarde?
Death and ruin. Time has not been kind to this place.
Then I have failed as both a father and a king.
Stromgarde is lost, But there is still hope for this world, if you will join us.
I will do whatever it takes to preserve peace on Azeroth.
In that moment, you know Stromgarde's greatest king no longer serves his fallen bloodline. He serves you. He is the second horseman, his strength reforged in death. And by your side, the storm of undeath gathers. When you return to Acherus, you find Thessarian waiting. His armored form still, his face shadowed in a way you rarely see among Death Knights. Urgency. His eyes flick up to meet yours, sharp and cold. He speaks only one name, Voltira. Imprisoned deep within the Undercity, held fast by the Banshee Queen herself, and after countless diplomatic attempts, Sylvanas has given her answer, silence. No more negotiations, no more waiting. Together, you and Thessarian slip through the rank, twisted sewers beneath the Forsaken City. The air is thick with the stench of rot and chemical waste, the walls slick with black grime. Every step echoes softly, boots striking stone, blades drawn and gleaming in the faint, sickly light. Shadows flicker at the edges of your vision, patrols, beasts, the restless dead. But you carve your way through them all. Each clash is swift, brutal, and efficient. Steel bites through bone, spells crackle through the damp air. At last you reach the heart of the Apothecarium. There, looming before you, stands Gurgoth, a monstrous, bloated creature, its rotting bulk heaving as it turns to face you, black ichor dripping from its maw. You don't hesitate. Together you and Thessarian strike. Blades flash, runes ignite. The creature's roar is cut short as you drive it down, its corrupted form crashing to the stone with a sickening wet thud. And there, in the shadows behind the fallen beast, you see him, Voltira Deathweaver. His once proud figure sits slumped within a heavy iron cage, his head lowered but not broken. The faint red glow of his eyes flickers beneath the matted strands of his hair. You step forward, your gauntleted hands seize the iron door. With a sharp crack of magic and brute force, you shatter the lock, tearing the cage open.
We are here to free you at last, my brother.
Thessarian, is it really you? It has been such a long time.
Indeed, it has. We must hurry before the guards come.
But there is another you are told to go and raise. The Lich King tells you, raise Whitemane. With Thessarian, Nazgrim, and Thoris at your side, you march upon the Scarlet Monastery. Once a holy stronghold, now little more than a slaughterhouse. You sweep through its halls, cutting down the crusaders who dare to stand before you, raising ghouls from the fallen, turning the light of their holy place into a well of terror. You cross the monastery lawn, the brittle grass crunching faintly beneath your boots, the central fountain trickling beside you. Ahead, the great cathedral doors stand wide open, yawning like the mouth of a waiting tomb. You step inside. The air is cool, still, heavy with the scent of old incense and cold stone. A long stretch of deep red carpet is unfurled before you, running the length of the hall like a blood-soaked path. It leads straight to the raised altar, its wide stone steps looming at the far end, bathed in flickering candlelight. But you are not alone. Within the cathedral, High Commander Goodchild waits, his massive two-handed sword gripped tightly, his armor creaking softly as he adjusts his stance. His voice echoes up the high stone walls, laced with desperation as he shouts prayers to the light, calling on it to stand against your advance. But no prayer, no faith, no blade can stop what comes next. With your horsemen at your side, you surge forward, steel meets steel. The clash rings out like a bell of doom. Magic crackles and spits, filling the air with sharp bursts of color. And at last, with a final anguished cry, Goodchild falls, his great sword slipping from his grasp, his body crumbling to the floor with a heavy, echoing crash. The cathedral falls silent once more. Beyond the altar, a heavy door stands open, framed by old stone, leading into the sanctum beyond. This is where Sally Whitemane rests, not in plain sight, but sealed within a stone coffin at the center of the room, her body hidden beneath the weight of time and faith. You approach. The coffin is smooth, cold to the touch, its surface etched with faded symbols of the Scarlet Crusade. You can feel the power coiled beneath it, waiting. A faint hum, like a heartbeat muffled by stone. You draw in a slow breath, and then you speak the words. The air tightens, the magic thickening, twisting, forcing its way down. Through the stone, through the dirt, through the grave itself. You feel the world hold its breath. Then, a crack, a tremor. A jagged split splinters across the coffin lid, stone grating, shrieking as fractures race through it. And with a sudden, violent surge, the stone bursts open. Pale, death-chilled fingers punch up from the ground. The sound is raw, brutal, stone-shattering, earth-splitting. A sudden gasp of air tearing from a throat that hasn't breathed in years. Sally Whitemane rises.
Rise up, High Inquisitor. Your Deathlord calls you back to this world.
I live? Is the anguish of death over?
We have not come to offer peace, High Inquisitor.
Why then? Why have you done this to me?
The day of reckoning is at hand. The Burning Legion has come to destroy our world. The Knights of the Ebon Blade have come to offer you a chance at atonement.
Atonement? I doubt that such a thing exists for me.
Join us, and we will find out together.
Indeed we shall.
And so you stand, Deathlord, commander of the dead, master of the horsemen, harbinger of the storm yet to come. In your hands, shadow and steel dance, and as the world watches, the balance between life and death tips further beneath your unrelenting will. There was still need for one more horseman, and the order came down from Bolvar himself. His will was clear, his purpose cold and unwavering. The Deathlord was to make a force of terror that would shake the Burning Legion to its very heart. And this time, Bolvar's chosen leader was none other than Tyrion Fordring, the recently fallen paladin, a hero whose name echoed across Azeroth like a prayer of hope. But not all among the Ebon Blade accepted this order without protest. High Lord Darian Mograine, once a soul forged in shadow, now stood defiant. His voice, usually iron and commanding, cracked under the weight of sorrow. Tyrion Fordring gave everything. He deserves peace, not chains. Binding a champion of such honor and sacrifice into undeath, twisting his legacy into a weapon, felt like a cruel, unforgivable desecration. Yet the will of the Lich King was absolute, and the Knights of the Ebon Blade, bound by oath and death, had no choice but to obey. You ride alone to Light's Hope Chapel, sacred ground where the Silver's Hand's last defenders hold fast.
Tread carefully, Death Knight. This is holy ground, and we have little tolerance for your kind.
The air is sharp with the scent of sanctified earth, the stones beneath your feet worn smooth by years of prayer and battle. You know the horsemen cannot yet join you. First, you must break the chapel's defenses. Slipping through the outer graveyard, you descend into the old crypts beneath the chapel. A labyrinth of stone corridors choked with dust and the stink of centuries-old decay. Here, among the forgotten bones, you begin your dark work. Your voice echoes through the crypt as you chant necromantic incantations, hands raised over shattered coffins and rotting remains. One by one, ghouls claw their way from their graves, teeth gnashing, claws scraping, eyes glowing with ravenous hunger. You watch as they lurch and stumble, then surge toward the surface, shrieking as they break into the light, their sole purpose, to distract the chapel guards, to buy you the moment you need. You slip through the chaos of Light's Hope Chapel. Outside, steel clashes, spells blaze, and the dead howl. But here, within the stone walls of the sanctum, the air hangs heavy with silence and suffocation. Your eyes lock on the scene ahead. At the far end near the altar stands Darian Mograine, his dark armor gleaming faintly, his gauntlet raised, fingers splayed as coils of shadowy magic twist from his palm. Suspended in the air, gasping, choking, is Lord Maxwell Tyrosus. His boots dangle several feet above the ground, the tips twitching faintly as he struggles. His hands claw at his throat, though there is no visible grip, only the crushing force of death magic wrapping tight around his chest and neck. His face is contorted, pale, his eyes wide with defiance and fading strength as Darien's dark power slowly squeezes the life from him.
Tyrion's body rests below us, in the Hall of Champions. We will join you shortly, Deathlord.
You will not succeed, Darien. The light will not allow it.
You slip through the shattered defenses, past the chapel's sacred halls, and descend into the lower sanctum. The buried chambers where only the highest ranks of the Silver Hand dare tread. The stone here is cold, damp, lined with old banners and flickering braziers. At your back, the faint thrum of battle above echoes like distant thunder, but here below, it is quiet. Too quiet. You move swiftly through the narrow corridors, your boots striking hard on ancient stone. The defenders waiting here are no untrained footmen. They are seasoned knights, steel-clad and righteous, blades gleaming with the light. They stand in your way. They pray, and you cut them down. Steel clashes against steel, holy shields shatter under the force of your strikes. Spells of shadow unravel prayers of faith. With each step, you push deeper, closer to the chamber where Tyrion Fordring lies entombed. At last, you reach the heart of the sanctum, and there, barring your path, stands Lady Liadrin. Her red gold armor glows faintly in the torchlight, her sword drawn, her stance unwavering. Her eyes lock onto yours, burning with determination. She raises her sword slightly, voice steady and sharp as a blade. The light will not allow this, she warns, her words carrying the weight of both command and plea. Turn back now, Deathlord. This path leads only to ruin. But you know there is no turning back. The clash is swift and brutal. Liadrin moves with a paladin's precision, her strike sharp, her shield flaring with bursts of golden light. You match her blow for blow, your rune blade hissing with shadow, your strength fueled not by righteousness, but by the cold, unyielding force of undeath. At last she falters, a sharp cry, a shudder, a final blow, and she stumbles back, gasping, her blade slipping from her fingers as she sinks to her knees. You leave her there, alive but defeated, the weight of loss heavy in her eyes, and you step toward Tyrion's stone coffin. Its smooth stone surface etched with the symbol of the light, humming faintly with protective wards. The air here is thicker, charged, the sacred presence almost suffocating as it presses against your dark power. You raise your hands, whispering the dark words that curl through the air like smoke, wrapping around the tomb. Necromantic energy gathers, tendrils of shadow winding across the stone, reaching, grasping, seeking the lifeless body sealed within. And then, the light surges. Without warning, a blinding wave explodes outward, bursting from the tomb in a searing white-hot flood. The entire chamber fills with the holy radiance, crashing into you, ripping the breath from your lungs, forcing you back. Your death knights crumble, choking on the burning brilliance, their skeletal frames cracking under the force. You stagger, teeth clenched, raising an arm to shield your face, but the light floods every corner, every shadow, every crack, shattering the dark magic like fragile glass. You falter, you fall. The light is everywhere, choking the room, driving you to your knees, until, through the haze, a voice cuts through. Go! Darien Mograine snarls, his voice rough, commanding, his silhouette barely visible through the blinding storm. With the last of his strength, Darien slams his gauntleted hand down, summoning a death gate, the swirling, clawing maw of shadow opening at your side. You feel his grip seize your arm, dragging you toward it, pulling you through the portal even as the light howls, as the tomb glows brighter, as the chapel roars with holy fury. The world twists, fractures, collapse, and then, with a violent crash, you land on the cold, black stone of Acherus.
Aye, Lord. We must do something before it's too late.
The light has ravaged his body. There is nothing we can do for him.
Even in a lifetime of war, I have never before seen such sacrifice.
Darien Mograine has sacrificed more for the Ebon Blade than any other. His body lays before you, broken, scarred. But death is for the living. It has no power over the damned. Your Four before you, Deathlord. Command him to rise.
Darian Mograine, who had once defied the will of undeath, rose anew. Not with resistance, but with grim acceptance. His mortal doubts were gone, burned away in the fires of duty. He rose as the Fourth Horseman, the leader of Bolvar's unholy champions. With the Four Horsemen now fully assembled, you turned to the Soulforge, you poured the gathered resources, the stolen souls, the raw essence of battle into your weapon. You felt its power sharpen, surge, coil beneath your fingertips, waiting to be unleashed. Because this was no ending. This was the sharpening of the blade. The war was far from over, and the battles yet to come would demand every ounce of darkness you could command.
We are it. Horsemen! Our destiny is at hand! The Burning Legion shall tremble before the power of the Four Horsemen!
And that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you did enjoy. Take care of yourself. See you in the next one.